Hello, you beautiful people. Critic in the comments.
I don't know what accent I was doing. Yeah.
Dude, mine's not any better. What's going on, everybody? Critic in the Comment Man here. We are reviewing Eurovision.
Okay,
today.
we are reviewing then. There we go.
Okay, a review, yeah. A review. Eurovision, of course, was out on Netflix. This was the popular Netflix movie for this past week, so we wanted to give it a watch. Will Ferrell, very good movie. Rachel McAdams kind of starring it. Guest appearance by Demi Lovato, even. As Ms.
I noticed that.
I don't know if you picked up on
I didn't know until the very end. Like the whole time I saw that, I was like, is that Demi Lovato?
Yep,
and then at the end, her name popped up. I was like, wow.
Sure enough. Okay, so initial reactions, Chris. What did you think of Eurovision compared to what did you think of it when you watched it compared to what you thought you were going to think of it?
So I thought I was going to hate it because I don't know what it is, man. I don't know why. And I'm always telling people, and especially in a lot of like the reviews, I'm sure I've said it a few times now in episodes now, but I always say when you go into a movie, you have to turn your brain off. But for whatever reason, I can't get into certain movies. I can't get into the scary movies. I can't get into Adam Sandler, like the Happy Madison movies, for the most part. And I'm not a big fan of Will Ferrell's movies like Step Brothers and all those. For whatever reason, I just couldn't get into those. Step Brothers was a little better than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, there's just like a level of, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, like there's
not as much. Yeah,
there's not much substance to
in those movies. Yeah, there's really not.
I really enjoyed Eurovision. I thought it was funny. It was clever at times. There was like actual emotion to it where I thought it was, there's a couple moments where I'm not going to lie, man. Like I totally teared up a couple times and I was like, wow, like I did not expect this movie to actually bring me to that point on like an emotional level. And I was like, okay. So obviously there were flaws with it. There are things I didn't like. But overall, I thought it was an entertaining movie. And if you haven't watched it, it's definitely worth a shot if it's, if especially if you already like the Will Ferrell movies and all those. If not,
right,
you might be pleasantly surprised.
I'm in the same boat. This movie definitely like didn't bring me to tears or anything like that. Like I wasn't that emotionally invested in this at all. But I will say I kind of wrote it off when I first saw the trailer for it or like the teaser trailer for it on Netflix. I was like, what is this? And it was Will Ferrell, of course, so you kind of assume this is going to be really stupid because that's just what Will Ferrell's good at. He does that stupid humor, And I was like, okay, whatever, let's give it a watch. Dude, I actually really liked it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I sat through the whole thing. It was not bad at all. Now, I will say that this movie seemed to have a hard time figuring out what it was.
I agree.
Is this Pitch Perfect? Is this a Will Ferrell movie? Is this Glee? Like, what is this?
I agree.
And there were you felt like those tones clashing a little bit throughout this movie for sure. Immediately, what you first hear is you hear them sing, and you think, wait a second, that actually sounds really good.
The Volcano Man. Yeah.
Like you're hearing them sing and you're going like, I thought what was going to happen in the beginning, I thought we were going to hear them singing that and it was going to like zoom out and that was going to be like a TV recording and Will Ferrell's character was going to be like pretending to sing and they were actually going to be really bad. But I don't know if that was their real voice or if it was auto-tuned to hell or what, but like
most of the voices were auto-tuned heavily in this movie.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So the music was actually really good, and that threw me off immediately because I was like, well, wait a second. I thought that this was like a whole gag movie, just like stupid comedy thing. I didn't think this was actually like, a Pitch Perfect kind of thing where there's like real singing in this.
It really is a movie that's just about the strangest people who happen to have a dream that is achievable. They have a talent. They just happen to be freaking weird and just... Yeah, I mean it's an interesting duo between them two.
So you know that Eurovision Song Contest is real?
Yeah, I didn't know that. You mentioned it, and I had absolutely no idea. I actually was curious the entire time I was watching this. I was like, is this a freaking real competition?
Yeah, that's a real thing, dude.
Because it'd be like somebody doing like The Voice or something. Like I can't believe that Eurovision was like down. But you know what? It raised awareness.
It raised awareness. Yeah, that's it. It raised awareness. I was, I don't know. I was just surprised at like the direction that chose though with the music because that didn't feel like Will Ferrell to me at all. Mm-hmm. Like Will Ferrell doesn't strike me as like the musical kind of movie type dude.
It's funny because he actually has a good voice.
Well, he sounded good in this, and
Yeah.
again, I don't know how
I've
much
heard
of that
him
was
sing in
him and
other
how much of
things.
it. And he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
When everything's a little clearer in the light of day. Si tú no estás junto a mí aquí, por ti volaré. A comedian at the Oscars, the saddest man of all. Your movies may make millions, but your name they'll never call.
I believe it. I mean, he's, the voices sounded very good in this. And Rachel McAdams, does she sing? Is she
I don't
a
know.
singer too?
I'm not sure.
Because her voice was phenomenal in this too. And again, it must have been a lot of autotune, but still, man, the music was not bad in this movie.
I'm sure
For
that for
what
some
you-
of them, the auto-tune wasn't as heavy as for other people.
So there's actual singers in this movie all throughout. Like obviously that
Lion of
Katiana, yeah, that the Lion of Love guy. You know who that is? You know who
No.
that's the voice of? Dude, that's the voice of Beast in the new Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson.
No way.
That's the voice of the Beast.
Even
yeah, I
as
swear
she
to God.
runs away.
Yeah, exactly. That's him.
Wow.
So this movie's riddled with people, and I don't know the names. I don't really know all the other actors and actresses that were, the singers, like the performers, but I guarantee you that most of them were actual, like,
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm
sure, yeah.
well-esteemed, singers and songwrites and all that. So the music in this movie is not at all bad.
No.
I mean, the music in this movie is actually very entertaining and good, and it's comedic, like with the Russian guy singing about the Lion of Love thing.
While all the guys in the background are like humping him.
Yeah, obviously there's like an essence of comedy
Mm-hmm.
to that, but at the root of it, his voice was actually very good.
Yeah.
It was not bad. So
I really wish
we ever
I thought
seen-
that Ben Stiller would have been a perfect part for that guy.
totally
Would have been great
Totally.
as
Yeah,
Alexander.
I could have seen it. But that's the thing. It's like they weren't trying to make it that goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were trying to make it kind of goofy by having just Will Ferrell in this. And Will Ferrell
Right.
was like one of the writers of this or something.
Yeah, and see that was my biggest thing with the movie. Was you hit it on the nose with it, it was struggling to find what type of movie it was. And that's why I was surprised when, and the only part that really brought me to an emotional level where I was, actually pleasantly surprised was just the part where Iceland was actually getting voted to go on. And that's where, I think it was Rachel McAdams' performance of her surprise that Iceland had actually moved forward. That is what touched me more than anything else. But it's funny because I feel like, and not to say that he's a bad actor or anything, but for what the movie was trying to be, I think the worst part of the movie was Will Ferrell. Because I feel like the movie was trying to be more than that type of movie, and Will Ferrell kept bringing it back down. He was funny.
Exactly.
He did a good job with the comedy and everything, but he was interrupting the emotional balance that we were going, and so it definitely kept bringing me out of it. The way I see it, either be that movie or don't.
Well, exactly. That was the whole thing with this film. It's like when they're in the house party. Like, okay, if you're going to commit to doing a Will Ferrell movie, I'm sorry, no offense to Will Ferrell, but he is the dumb comedy actor. That's what he's always done. That's where he cut his teeth. That's what he's always done.
I can't think of a single movie where he didn't do that.
Exactly. Like with Adam Sandler or somebody like that, he's done serious roles. We've talked about Uncut Gems on here before. Even movies like 50 First Dates are a lot less just in your face dumb. Right, they're not all Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
But with Will Ferrell, they're all Will Ferrell. They're
Anchorman.
all Step Brothers. They're all Talladega Nights. They're just really goofy, dumb, and funny movies. They're funny, sure. But yeah, agreed. It's like when it first started out, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be Will Ferrell. Here we go. Then the music was really good, and I'm like, well, okay, that's a little weird. It was like, I'm thinking this was going to be Blades of Glory. Did you ever see that movie
Yes, I
about
did.
that Will Ferrell
I
ice
saw
skating?
that in theaters.
I think I did too, actually. I thought it was going to be like that, where it's like goofy Will Ferrell in a competition. Okay, here we go.
I agree. I thought it
But
was going
then
to be
there's-
exactly that.
Then there's scenes where like they're in the mansion and they're having a big mansion party, and they start doing like the karaoke song, like the Waterloo remix kind of
Right,
thing.
yeah.
But dude, it turns into like Glee. You know what I mean? It turns into like Pitch Perfect, where all of a sudden it's like Will Ferrell's not even in that part really, and they're like singing their hearts out, and it sounds really good, and it's this cool, well done remix of this song, and I'm like, well, okay, what the hell? Like, this is this Pitch Perfect, or is this Talladega Nights?
Yeah,
like,
it was
which way are
bouncing
we
all over
going
the
here?
place.
It was,
Yeah.
it was tonally, it was bouncing all over the place. So I don't know how I feel about this movie because of that, in a sense of like just how much I liked it.
Yeah, I agree.
The humor was good. There was good humor in there. Like, specifically when they walk into that guy's mansion, the Russian dude, and he has like the statues with like the big wieners, and
Fully
they're like,
erect, yeah.
they're like, oh, funny because all of their faces look like you. And
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
I hadn't noticed. I
Yeah,
hadn't
yeah.
noticed. Like, that's funny. There was funny parts in that movie for sure. But I
Are
don't know.
are you gay? No, I'm Russian. That was the
No,
best.
I'm Russian. I don't think she is my sister.
Gender fluid? No fluid. I do. Yeah. Did you notice that his name was Erickson, and her name was
name was Eric's daughter.
Eric's daughter. I was like, what? Yeah, that was clever.
So what did you think of Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams pulling off those accents for this movie?
For the most part, I thought they did pretty well. It wasn't bad. There were a couple times where the accent faded a little bit, because you can tell that they were trying to hold their shit together because they're making each other laugh. There's got to be so many bloopers. But for the most part, I thought they did a good job. Now, because of the way the movie was written and there's actual depth to it and structure and everything, I feel like they should have casted actual Icelandic people who could have delivered a comedic tone.
They could have easily made this like a much more serious movie.
Yeah.
Like, if they had taken Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams out and put in like good singer-songwriters who were, like Icelandic, exactly, they could have made this like an actual serious movie. But I mean, would you have seen it? Would we have watched it?
Probably not.
If it was like Eurovision, the movie, and it like, we don't even know what Eurovision is. We're just we basically are watching it because it's a Will Ferrell movie and it's on, it's popular on Netflix. So
Yeah.
people are going to watch it for that. So if it doesn't have Will Ferrell, is it going to get the same notoriety? Is it going to be in the
Probably
top
not.
10 on Netflix? Probably not.
Yeah.
But I definitely did not hate this one at all. I actually thought, for a lot of ways, it was actually pretty good. It was enjoyable. It was, I got all the way through it. I liked it. I liked this one.
When the boat blew up and they were like cheering and they were like, oh my God, I'm so sad. I feel so bad for all those people, but they're like happy, and it was great.
See, but right. That's just it. Like, they're sprinkling that kind of humor in throughout the whole thing,
And then
like,
asking you to go on this like emotional roller coaster ride with them too.
Right.
Yeah. There were moments that were touching there, but there was also a lot of moments that were the complete opposite, where they were, gross out humor and just sexual comedy. And I mean, it was funny. The movie was funny. I can't believe they hired Pierce Brosnan to play his father. He did a great job too.
Yeah, he did.
And that's the
did
thing,
do a
is like,
great job.
why hire actors that are that good at delivering real characters and then put in statues that have, fully erect penises, and like, it was just bizarre to me.
Yeah, well, you got to think too, man. You got to think that like, these guys are probably all friends. Like, I almost said Will Smith. Will Ferrell is probably friends with Pierce Brosnan, who's probably friends with Rachel McAdams, who's probably friends with whatever the British dude is who was like the announcer. I forgot his name. Like, these people are all probably like friends in real life. So they talk about this. They're like, hey, we're doing a movie. It's about Eurovision. And maybe, I guess, Pierce Brosnan just happened to know enough about Eurovision to where he was like, oh, this will be fun. Let's
Sure.
do this. Yeah, sure. I'll do it. I'll do a movie. But I don't know. It makes me want to go to the actual Eurovision, or like see the actual Eurovision competition and see what they do.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it's just a bunch of people doing like, I don't know, like remakes of like old songs that we don't really listen to anymore. I'm pretty sure that's like basically what that is.
So what did you think of their chemistry? Like, were you sold on this love story between Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams' characters?
No,
I wasn't either.
dude. How old is Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
He looks like he was about twice her age, man.
Absolutely. I agree. I didn't care that they were in love.
No, it felt like she almost had more chemistry with the Russian dude.
It did. It really did. Which, by the way, as a note, I liked his character a lot because they set him up to look like this villain. And like he was getting her drunk and all this stuff, and you were like, "Fuck!" You're watching this, and you're like, "Dude, he's totally just using her." Turns out he's gay. Yeah,
and he's a pretty cool guy.
He's like, "No, I am a gentleman."
It definitely. I wouldn't say this movie was super predictable. It really wasn't, because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, all right, Russian dude, Iceland's gonna get some notoriety. He's gonna get he's gonna feel threatened. Russian dude's gonna try to break him up somehow or sabotage their act. No, didn't really happen. He was a pretty decent guy.
Yeah.
And even the Mita,
Mita,
I think the Greek chick, Mina.
I think it was Mita.
Whatever it was, even her, I'm thinking the same thing. Like, oh, they're in on this together. She's trying to I
agree. I thought
Will
so
Smith.
too. I thought the same
I keep saying
shit.
Will Smith. Damn it, Will Ferrell over. She's trying to get into an entanglement with Will Ferrell, and it just, I don't know, man. It was pretty unpredictable, which was nice. That was refreshing. I really think the only negative thing about this movie was just that it couldn't really decide if it wanted to be a stupid comedy movie or if it wanted to be pitch perfect.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
And it could have been either. It could have been either one, and it would have been good. But you're right. It was shuffling in place as to what kind of movie it wanted to be, and it just didn't find its footing. And that comes down to the writing and the directing. That's what it comes down to. Because maybe I feel like what happened was that they started off with this stupid movie and they hired good actors that brought another level of depth to it, and they just went along with it. And we're like, okay. I feel like that's what it turned into.
It could even be something where, like, when they approached the Eurovision Commission about like doing that, they said, well, you could do a movie about Eurovision, but you have to make it portrayed in like a positive way. You can't make Eurovision out to be like this shitty competition with all these bad songs. So who knows, man? Who knows? But going back to what you said, no, I didn't really buy their chemistry at all. Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams.
You almost said Will Smith again.
They just, dude, I can't
heard the
stop
S
saying
there.
it.
Yeah, I heard the S.
Yeah, it's
Will's
like
Ferrell.
right on the cusp. Will's Ferrell. Yeah, exactly. No, I didn't buy their chemistry at all. I thought that was a little bit weird. He looked at least twice her age.
Yeah.
Or at least 30% older. Like he just, I don't know. It just seemed weird.
Yeah,
like,
it was a little strange. Now, if you're twice as old as your significant other, I mean, we're not judging you. It's just.
But they were supposed to be the same age in the movie, weren't they?
Yeah, you're
Pretty
right.
sure they
were.
Like they were supposed to have like grown up together and stuff. They did not look like they grew up together. Also, I don't know. I just felt like that role was a little bit hard for Will Ferrell. Oh my God, dude! I cannot stop almost saying Will Smith. Jesus, that role was a little bit hard for Will Ferrell to play because like he's not young enough to pull that off anymore. Like we're still supposed to believe he was trying to be like the old kid that hasn't moved out of his parents' house yet.
Yeah, and
but
it's
he
like,
was like
no,
the
he is the
adult
one who
living in
gave
with
birth to that kid. Like,
right.
Well, not him physically, but
no, exactly. It was funny though how they made references to Pierce Brosnan's like handsomeness and everything.
Did they? I didn't catch that.
Very handsome father.
I didn't catch that at all.
It's just they throw it in there. It's just kind of like it was on the nose. Like they're like, yes, I have to impress my very handsome father.
Did he? I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it at all.
They
That's
definitely
funny.
they don't shy away from the fact that like Pierce Brosnan's a good looking dude.
I'm
they
sure
don't shy away from it.
I'm sure a good percentage of this movie was improv. I guarantee it.
It could be
because
you could be right.
Will Ferrell was on SNL. Like that was pure improv. And if this is one of his movies, I guarantee you that a lot of the, like at one point she was making him, or he was making her laugh. And it seemed genuine. I guarantee you a lot of these laughs that we got like on screen were real.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about laughter, man. Like it's involuntary, so you can usually tell. Like when someone's really being genuine and they're laughing, you can usually tell.
Yeah.
So I mean, it felt pretty genuine.
Now, with that said, I while I wasn't sold on their like relationship, I did like their chemistry. I thought there was some good chemistry there, and but almost like brother sister chemistry. You know what I mean? It didn't feel.
I don't know. I don't know if I disagree or not, honestly. Like I almost feel like I'd have to watch it again and just focus on that because I don't remember thinking their chemistry was great, but I also don't know if I just couldn't get past the fact that Will Ferrell looked like he was twice her age.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I mean is like I liked the little things that they kept doing where they kept like I'm checking you out, you know, like
I'm checking you out.
Yeah,
I have
that
2 beers,
it was
both
cute
for me.
It was endearing. It gave them a little more character, and so I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah, I mean, the elves were hilarious. That was a weird little twist there.
Oh my God! When that guy got murdered by the knife, that was funny.
Yeah,
dude. That like there was
knife
points
was like
in
this
there
big.
where yeah, I'm going to leave your knife here in case you have to do more murders. There
That
was
was
good
good.
comedy in this.
Yeah.
And you know, I am not the biggest fan of Will Ferrell's comedy. I'm really not. Like, don't get me wrong. I like his movies, but I wouldn't say that he is like my favorite comedian or my favorite comedic actor. I wouldn't say that. This movie was funny. I mean, there was good comedy in this.
Yeah.
It was a good time. This movie blew me away in how much more I ended up liking it than I thought I was
agree.
going to going into.
It was more
100%.
than what we expected it to be.
Definitely.
Yeah. Even the weird humor, like the song that they're singing at the beginning, the Ya Ya Ding Dong. Like,
I was singing that. I've been
Absolutely.
singing that since we watched that movie, dude. I can't stop singing it. God damn.
know.
Is that a real song?
I don't know, but
Like,
it's
I
got
almost wanna
like
look it up, like
the hit sound to it. You know, like did you ever hear that like Numa Numa Ye? You know that one?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Same feeling. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it did. No, I know. I was singing. I was like either humming or singing that stupid song. I have been since we watched that movie
Yep.
like days ago.
Ding dong, ding dong. But yeah, I mean, it was an entertaining movie for sure. I really enjoyed the competition part of it. I think that the training and I feel like the part when they're in the actual Eurovision, there was one too many scenes. Like, I felt like we get it. They're training, they're rehearsing. They could have plugged in the fight that they had a little sooner and removed one of the scenes and pushed the movie along a little further. But there was like too many rehearsals, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you make a movie like this? Like, how do you make a movie that you want to be like kind of dumb humor, but also throw in singing without either the singing just being horrible? I mean, that's the thing. If you're gonna make it that really dumb humor, then the singing can't be good, because then you start to get mixed up. You know, it's like make all of the contestants their own like characters like they did, but make them all really dumb in their own kind of funny way. And then like everyone's oblivious to the fact that it's just all really bad.
Right.
You know, like that's kind of where you have to go with that, because the whole scene in the mansion party when they're singing was just really, it was almost off-putting to me, because I just felt like it did not fit with the rest of the
It was
vibe
odd.
of that movie.
And they didn't do it
all.
again at all. That was
No,
the
they
one
didn't.
and only time they did it. So yeah, it was kind of like them showing off almost. And it was strange.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
It felt like showing off. It felt like, hey, let's bring in these actors or not even actors and actresses. Let's bring in these like singers, and let's have them like come in and like let's do like a big musical number for this. But you get that in even like the Pitch Perfect movies, which is what I keep referencing to because it feels the most similar. You get that where it's like the music, if you want the music to be really, really good, then the rest of the movie has to kind of fit that vibe. Because it's really weird to go from like Rainn Wilson doing dumb like fart jokes and all of a sudden she's like belting her heart out, like singing on the stage. And then meanwhile, this one, you have Demi Lovato, who is a phenomenal singer, you know, and it's like the stupid humor, but then you have Demi Lovato up there singing and it sounds phenomenal.
Missing an arm on fire.
Yeah, oh my God, her ghost. That was ridiculous. But I definitely, I liked it. I'm glad I watched it. It definitely had a hard time figuring out what it wanted to be, but I'm glad that I watched it. What did you think of this one from like kind of from the critic's eye a little more, and not so much just from like, did we think the movie was funny or not? Like, how did you feel about this one in the cinematography and the settings and all that stuff? Because I wasn't blown away by anything, but I also thought it was kind of I don't know what it is about this movie, but it just seemed like it was sort of the standard cinematography. It wasn't like any weird color palette. It was like they just had a nice camera and they were just recording the whole thing.
yeah, that's where you go back to the invisible director. You have the professionalism there, and the style is there. But you have none of the obvious intent. You know, where like you're setting up the shots to be perfectly symmetrical, or you know, like there's a lot of other movies that'll do it. You know, where like they put, you know, a frame on one side and a frame on the other, and the person's perfectly in the center. That's done on purpose, obviously. It's just to create that balance. This movie, I can't think of any scene where it was, you know, that intent. You know, there wasn't a single moment where I felt the director's presence. But I felt the professionalism. And like I said, like I felt like the movie was trying to go somewhere. And so I was surprised with that. I was pleasantly surprised with the direction that the story was going, that there was actual depth to it. But again, Will Ferrell's acting and his performance pulled me out of it in a good way because it was funny, but it hindered the performance of the movie. It took away from the movie by having him constantly, and it was strange. Like again, it was just going all over the place. The movie just had no footing, but it was still entertaining, and I enjoyed it for that. So,
agreed. It got pretty good reception.
Yeah.
Eurovision ended up with a 64% critic score and a 79% audience score, which is not bad. I mean, that, basically for all intents and purposes, 80% critic score. That's good. I mean, that's, it's still pretty new, but that's a lot better than a lot of movies that I would say, were probably better than that, and it was rated fairly well. So what did you think of this one, like on a scoring system? What do you think you'd give Eurovision just kind of overall?
Overall, like it could have been more, but I think I'm going to give it a solid 7. I think 7's a good score. It's an average movie. It's a little more than a Will Ferrell movie. There's some very good humor in it. There's actual character development and growth. There's a few moments that kind of take you out of it, but overall, it's just fun. So I'm going to give it a 7. And I'm just remembering the Americans in the movie too. That was funny as shit.
The like Arizona State bros.
It's funny because that's the school I went to. So it's
really.
Yeah, so I was
ASU?
just like, hey. But yeah,
I thought it said Florida State on there at first, and I'm from Tallahassee, so I was like, oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Like they're like, what's the biggest party school in America? Let's pick that. Arizona State, great.
Sure,
that'll work.
No, that was funny as shit because when he was like insulting them and they were like, is he trying to help us? I think he was being helpful. They're just
look for the Starbucks.
Don't come to
Starbucks is
Iceland. We
everywhere.
don't want you there.
Go home and build your wall. You shit for brains Americans. Lars, they love Starbucks. Hey, go to Starbucks. They have a special for Americans.
Where's the Starbucks?
That Starbucks, it's anywhere you look, okay?
Oh,
Just smell for the pumpkin spice latte.
okay, thank you.
I'm not saying thank you back.
So yeah,
Like,
what did
thanks,
you think?
bro. I'm right there with you. I give it a 7 too. I was actually pleasantly surprised. There's not a whole lot of negative about this movie. It's a Will Ferrell
There's
movie,
not
so
a lot
it's going to
of
be
great.
goofy comedy. No, there's not. Yeah, there's not a lot of peaks or valleys on this one, man. It's kind of right there in the middle. I think 6.5 it just feels a little harsh to give this in the
agree.
6s because I enjoyed it. I didn't
agree.
hate the movie.
Because I was laughing. That's the
really
thing. It did what it was supposed to. It's a
Exactly.
comedy. It made me laugh. I didn't waste my day. We're singing the damn songs afterwards. Like it accomplished its mission as a piece of entertainment. So you're right. A 7 feels a little too strong, but a 6.5 feels too low.
No, you said it well. That was very well spoken. The movie accomplished its goal. It is what it thought it was. This is not an Academy Award winner, and they know that. A 7, I think, is completely fair. I'm very comfortable in locking that in. So it's going to be a 7 for me, too. You got anything else for this one, Chris, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, the one thing is if the song that she sings, not the ending one, although that one was beautiful too, but the one that they sang like 3 or 4 times during the competition, if that is available on Spotify, I may or may not be adding it to my playlist because I thought that song was freaking awesome.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. The music was not bad.
And like just
for
from
what
like
you were expecting a goofy oh my God, dude. Damn it. A Will Ferrell movie.
Smith.
What you were expecting a goofy Please make like just a cut of this of all the times of me accidentally saying like Will
Smith. Yeah,
just like link that in because it's at least 5
Yeah.
times. But all the music that was in this when you expect a Will Ferrell movie, it was actually really good.
Yeah.
I was very pleasantly surprised.
And I liked that song just because it was all about their home country.
Yep.
And I feel like even it being a Will Ferrell movie, like if you're from Iceland and you saw this movie, I feel like I would get a little bit of pride from that song, from this movie, like just a little bit, you know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was a huge insult to their entire culture and their country. I don't know,
dude. All I know is Iceland's got my vote for Eurovision
Yeah.
2021. I think Eurovision this year was canceled due to COVID. So Eurovision 2021, I'll be voting for Iceland, man.
Yep. But that's it. 7 and
Story of
7.
Fire Saga. That's it. A strong 7. I would say strong 7 because I was expecting, when I first saw this on Netflix, I was expecting to probably end up somewhere in the 5 to 6 range. Pleasantly surprised, moved it up to a 7. Eurovision, pretty good.
Way to go.
They did a lot of things right on this one.
Way to
They
go,
did a lot of
Fire
things right
Saga.
on this one. Way to go. All right, that's German.
Yeah,
that was
that's what I did too. I was like, yeah.
Mixelabra.
I'm like, I'm not even sure that's how you say yes in Icelandic.
Who knows? Who knows? I should have looked up a sentence. Ja, muder es. I don't know.
Go on.
I don't know. I'm about
Go
to say
on.
something real.
Yeah.
Don't. Just leave that alone.
What I meant was,
I don't know what I said. If I said something bad,
you're gonna get some hate mail.
I'm off the hook. That's it. Critic and the Common Man, the review of Eurovision. You can find this one on Netflix. It'll probably still be in the top 10 when this comes out. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up. Drop a comment down below if you're just listening to this. Jump on over to the YouTube. Get involved in the conversation. Yeah, again, we're listening to you guys. We're doing the shorter videos with the movies, so we hope you guys like this. We've been liking recording them, so this is it. That was it. Eurovision 2020 canceled, unfortunately, but the movie took its place pretty good. All right, Chris, are we out of here?
We're out. Lion
Bye,
of
guys.
Love.